In about 12 minutes, you will know everything there is to know about our latest investment. The company that combines a good financials, an awesome business, and actually seems undervalued even today. So a couple of weeks ago, we have invested in Lunar, and today we're going to talk about this company. We're going to talk about financials, their valuation, the business model of the company, the possible catalyst for the next half a year. Welcome to the Market Monkeys channel. My name is Vadim. Today we're going to talk about Intuitive Machine, or the company known by their ticker as Lunar. So Lunar became our latest investment. We have invested some money in the company about 2 weeks ago. We have talked about this company a couple of months ago when it signed its deal with NASA. Today we're going to talk about that as well, and I will try to explain to you why we think this is an awesome investment, one of the best companies there is right now in the market and one of the most promising ones. But we will start with something interesting. We will not start with the business of the company, we will actually start with their financials. So recently the company has posted their Q3 results, and results were quite amazing, although the market didn't really understand it in the beginning. So there was this weird situation where the stock of the company in the pre-market rose about 22-26%, then it fell crashing down about 11%, the next day it went up 10 something percent. So the market did not really know how to eat or how to digest these numbers, and I will explain to you exactly why. So let's start with Q3 results. So in Q3, Lunar has posted revenue of $58.5 million. This was much more than 50 something the Wall Street predicted, so they beat the expectation there, and the net income, well, net loss was around $55.5 million, which is expected for the company in the stage of development. The most exciting thing is the current backlog of Lunar. So I need to explain what this backlog actually means, because this is kind of accounting stuff. So the backlog of the company, the contractual backlog, these are orders that are already been signed to a contract with the company, but the company have not recognized the revenue on their contract. So these contracts currently amount to $316 million, and they have grew by $100 million, not year over year, quarter over quarter. Let's recap for a second. So currently the revenue of the company is about $58 million. The company have contracts for about, what's that, like 6 quarters? Only contracts which they have right now, and this is a small piece of the revenue which they're going to get in the upcoming years, and I will explain why. But first, let's talk about cash balance. So young growing company, not really profitable. We all think about the same thing. Where are they getting their money from? So the company currently has a cash balance of about $90 million, and the company actually said that they are planning to close next quarter and close the whole year with about the same cash balance which they have right now, so the same $90 million. So we know two things. First of all, they're not going to burn more cash in the upcoming quarter, which is great. The company will stop burning cash. Second, we know that this cash will suffice for the company for, well, the management said at least a year and some. If you find this information useful or valuable, or you just like to press like buttons, press a like button and subscribe to our channel. When you're picking your next company for investment, I strongly encourage you to go and listen to the earnings calls. So these calls, which you have after each quarter or after yearly results, where analysts from Wall Street asking management some questions, and a lot of these questions are the questions which you have as an investor. So I have my favorite analyst. His name is Andres Shepard, and this guy asks the most amazing questions. So he asked the management of the company after Q3 2 great questions. First question was, tell me what are the catalysts for the stock in the upcoming few quarters? And the second question was, does the company have enough money to burn? So we have answered the second question. Now let's talk about the first one, and let's talk about the business of the company. The company has 3 goals. The first goal is to create a delivery chain, so to deliver payloads from Earth to the Moon. The second one is to create a communication network from Earth to the Moon. This company is actually going to become the first internet provider on the Moon. And the third thing is to create infrastructure, and they are going to create something which they're calling infrastructure as a service. So these are three pillars on which the company is built. Now let's talk about projects of the company, because it's not really that easy. They are not standalone projects which the company has. These are four big projects, out of which we will understand which catalyst the company has. So the first one we need to talk about is the Near Space Network Services, or NSNS. Anyway, this is Lunar's crown jewel. So this is this contract which NASA brought to the company, for which the company is about to receive $4.83 billion. So in this project, the company will create a lunar communication network. Well, they will essentially provide internet access on the moon, and they are going to charge NASA by minute. Do you remember, like in mid 90s, I think, the first mobile phones, the operator will charge you by the minute? So we will have something like that, and they will be the first and the only company right now to provide such a service on the moon. Now, the funding, this $4.83 billion, will be in phases. Currently, we are in phase one. The phase one starts with $150 million. These are 3/4 of revenues for the company. So these $150 million which the company should receive, they are split into tasks. For completion of each task, the company will receive some partial sum of money. The first task will last for about 6 months. We are right now in the middle of it, and the company will receive about $9 million. So this task is initial system design and testing. After we are done with that, the company will be moving to the next one for $18 million for further testing and development. And later, about 6 months later, they will receive the whole $150 million. So why does this matter? So the project alone can secure Intuitive Machines or Lunar as NASA long-term contractor and long-term partner in NASA's goals to settle on the moon. The second thing is something which is called IM mission. So you will see in the presentation of the company something which is called IM2, IM3, IM4. So what are these? These are individual lunar lander mission. Each one is focused on different scientific and commercial objectives. Right now, we are in IM2. IM2 is the prospecting mission, which is set for early 2025. So those of you who will invest in this company right about now, this is your first catalyst, the IM2 mission, about February 2025, beginning of March 2025. This mission will deploy a drill, hopper and the rover to Moon's South Pole to study lunar resources. After that, there is IM3 mission, which is scheduled for late 2025, early 2026, and this mission will carry the first NSNS, the internet thing on the moon, satellite into lunar orbit. It's a critical step in building the communication infrastructure for NASA for this lunar internet. The fourth mission, IM4, will expand the capabilities of NSNS and support lunar exploration. This includes delivering cargo and technology for NASA and also private partners. So the company is building infrastructure. NASA will be the main beneficiary of this infrastructure, but the company does not have an exclusivity with NASA. They can actually provide the service for the private companies as well. Third big project which the company has, something which is called LTV, Lunar Terrain Vehicle. This is NASA's lunar rover program for which Intuitive Machines is competing to design and operate. If selected, it is another long-term revenue stream, but the award decision won't happen until late 2025. They have one more project, which is Lunar Reconnaissance and Shadow Cam, which is a satellite which orbits the moon and taking picture of the moon. Pretty much what we have with satellites on Earth when we constantly have some pictures of Earth. This is what they are going to do to the moon. So back to the catalyst of Lunar Stock. So we have two major ones. IM2 mission, February 2025, and something which is called Nova D. Nova D is quite awesome. So Nova D, you can think of it as a cargo delivery spaceship, which will deliver cargo for the company and for NASA from Earth to the moon. The initial design phase is set to be reviewed by NASA in early 2025. So if approved, the company is looking for another huge project with NASA, similar to the $4.8 billion they have signed in September this year. So this is your second catalyst. And this is why we think early 2025 is going to be really exciting for the company. Now let's talk a little bit about valuation, and let's talk about how we invested in the company. So the valuation doesn't really make sense. In our previous video, when we talked about Lunar, we talked about, hey, we have a company with a market cap of $350 million. Well, it was then. And they have a deal worth $4.8 billion. How is all this is going to play out? So their price to sales will be less than 1 for a growing company. And that's when we started to cover the company and to actually follow it. And then we have actually invested. The company market cap is about $780 million, but the revenue for this whole year will be about $250 million. So you have a company whose revenues are growing 4 times compared to the last year, and their price to sales is about 3. And this is something where it puzzles us. Is the company really undervalued? To kind of get an idea if that's true, we went to Wall Street analysts to take a look at their price targets. And the price targets kind of confirmed what we were thinking. So currently the company's stock trades for about $12.4 per share. If you take a look at analysts' price target, the lowest you will find is 12.5, which is kind of the great signal of its own. Julia, by the way, my co-host on this channel, this is her method of kind of identifying stock. She likes to see that the lowest analyst expectation is higher than the stock price today. So it definitely passes this test. The average target price for Lunar is about 14.7, and we also have a highest price target of about 16. So the stock has a long way to go. Now, when we decided to invest in Lunar, we have decided to buy call options on Lunar and not to buy the stock itself. And there is one thing which bothers me with this company. Of course, every company has risks, and there is one which really bothers me with Lunar. And this is that NASA seems to be the only customer for Lunar right now. It's an awesome customer. It's the customer which has a lot of money and whose projects are really long term, and we don't have any worries about whether the NASA is going to pay the company or not. So I think it's going to be fine there. But it's if you remember Palantir at the end of 2021, well, most of the contracts were governmental contracts, and we talked about all the time that we want to see more commercial clients for the company. So the same with Lunar. We want to see more commercial clients for Lunar. For now, we think it won't happen anytime soon, but we think that the stock has a long way to go. So this is where our opinions split. I for myself bought call options for Lunar with the strike of 10, so I'm already in the money for April 2025. Julia for herself bought a stock of Lunar because she believes in this company more long-term than I am. I will see what will happen after IM2 and after design review for Nova D. And then I will decide whether to sell my call options or to convert them to the stock. Anyway, if you're interested in this company, do your own due diligence, ask questions. Maybe I can point you in the right direction or help you out with our research. In any way, this is really exciting to invest in this company, as an investment, as a stock. We actually think it's going to bring us a lot of money. By the way, if you found this information valuable, press the like button, subscribe to our channels. We will update you on all of our investment, all of our research, and we will have more videos like that. That's all for now. Thank you for your time. Thank you for staying with us, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.